Yeah, I feel like you're pretty much good to do whatever you want to do, I think, Dolph.
Hey, man.
Before we begin, should we get a temperature of the room here? How many are fans of Dolph's in the Expendables? Aquaman. I had a feeling. This one goes a little back here. What about Masters of the Universe? And should I even ask Creed 2 and Rocky 4? Utah loves you, Dolph.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Nice introduction. Nice to be here in Utah again.
I feel like we should probably start with the big one, right? Let's start with Rocky 4.
Sure.
So, in your time, this will go back to 1985, right? What was happening with your career when you got cast as that role?
When I got cast, well, you know, I was a chemical engineering student. I was
heard that.
living in New York. I was dating a girl who was in the show business, and I started getting second thoughts about going to MIT. It's like, I don't know about the test tubes, you know. Studio 54, Andy Warhol. I was like hanging out, Michael Jackson. Anyway, so then I went up for this boxing movie. I didn't know what it was, but they turned me down. They said I was, you know, they said, how tall are you? And I said 6'4", and they were like, too tall, next. And I'm like, then I saw behind this girl, there's a sign, Rocky 4, handwritten like this. I thought, I got to do something about this. So I took pictures in boxing gear, and then I was, I went back to Europe, because I was living in, I was in Sweden at the time. I was going back and forth, and somebody tracked me down a few months later, and then I went to see Stallone, and I ran into him. I went to see him in L.A., and he had long hair for Rambo 2. You know, had long hair, was really tanned, a little shorter than I thought, but he looked good, you know. And I was impressed. I was starstruck. And then I had to audition for about 5 months, different things I had to do, and then train.
5 months? The audition
5 months.
took 5 months?
Yeah, because they came to see me in New York while I was training, and then I had to do a monologue. I had to do a boxing thing, like a test. But I was European karate champion, so I did fine with the fighting, you know. But then I got the part, and then I moved to L.A. and trained with Stallone for 5 months in L.A., 6 days a week, twice a day, and rehearsed the character. And then, you know, my girlfriend at the time was in a Bond movie, and I remember I said, Sly, you know, can I get some time off to go to the premiere in San Francisco? And he's like, forget the Bond movie. When this thing comes out, you don't know what's going to happen. And he was right, you know. He was right, you know, that my life changed overnight.
And I can say, I mean, that was huge. How soon, I mean, Sly mentioned that it was a big change would be coming right after the movie. How soon did you know that life would be different?
You know, to tell you the truth, the premiere was in Westwood in Los Angeles, and I walked into the theater with my girlfriend, who was kind of famous at the time, and people would kind of get me out of the way to take pictures of her, right? Hey, you're in the way. Hey, big guy, move out of the way. I got in the theater, and I sat down, and I'd only seen like a rough cut of the movie, you know, in black and white, when we did this sound editing and stuff. And I sat down, and the lights went down, and there's two boxing gloves, you know, the Russian, the Soviet, and the American glove explodes, right? They explode, and then I was just like this for 90 minutes. And when the lights came up, everybody was looking at me. And then when I went outside, they were taking pictures of me. And I was like, I was just a Swedish kid, you know. It was like, it took me like a couple of years to get over it.
I can only imagine. What do people say most to you when they see you on the street?
Now, it varies, you know. I mean, and back in the day, it was all about Rocky 4. Now it's kind of a mix. Like the kids, they know, some of them know Creed 2 or Aquaman, or, you know, but I think most people are appreciative of my career, of the, you know, of the body of work. I mean, sometimes people think I'm Russian, but not that often, but it's okay. I don't care, pays the bills, you know.
Well, you've had two movies kind of going bookending right there. You've had Rocky IV, so we began your career really with the Russian character, and we come back to it in Creed, right? Creed 2 in 2018. How fun was that to reprise that role?
You know, when I heard about that, I got a text from Sly, a couple of years ago. It just said, how do you want to play this guy again? It's like Sins of Our Fathers or something. And I was like, I didn't know if I wanted to do it again because I thought, the movie is such an iconic picture and that character, and I didn't want to like mess it up or play another one-dimensional Soviet bad guy. So, but I read the script, and the script was really great. It was a great role for me. It was a great story about fathers and sons, really. Me, my son, Stallone and his son, Apollo Creed, his son who's never seen his dad. It's a great kind of touching story, and I thought, wow, this is a real challenge for me as an actor, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it on all levels, and first time we shot in the ring is the one. I think the first fight in the picture. It's the last fight in the movie when they go to Russia. But anyways, first time I worked with Stallone again, and I remember getting in the ring. I was in my red tracksuit. You saw it there, as my son's trainer, and then I see those Converse sneakers, and I see that black hat, and there's coming toward me is Rocky Balboa, and I was like, 35 years later, this is weird. I was like, it was bizarre, but it was a beautiful experience.
Yeah, looking at that role, it was interesting to see that you had that role, you had the Aquaman role, both fathers' roles in there. And how much of your personal experience as a father did you use to be able to portray those characters?
It's interesting how I made kind of an instantaneous leap to play a father. Like both movies. It was great. It was I have two daughters, and I love them very much. And I've had a lot of problems. My career, we all do in our lives, divorces, and people doubt you, you doubt yourself, and I had a lot of injuries and other things, that I could use for Ivan Drago, for that character particularly, and Aquaman. My daughter is in danger. It's like imagining my daughter, if her life was in danger, and how I would feel about that, how desperate I'd be. So I think it was really a good chance for me to do some dramatic acting, which is really why I wanted to get into business in the first place. But I got sidetracked into taking names and running around with an assault rifle, blowing people away. Paid a few bills.
Is there something you like to do you haven't done yet?
Excuse me?
Is there a role, you mentioned the roles that you kind of fell into. Is there one role that you'd like to play you haven't done yet?
Yeah, there are plenty of roles. I mean, any role that, you show the humanity of the character, and usually any role I get will be physical in some way or shape or form, so I know that's there, but anything where I can show other sides of myself that people haven't seen or that I'm interested in showing, then it's interesting to me.
It kind of feels like every time you play, you mentioned each of these characters always has some kind of physical aspect to it. I mean, you stayed pretty much in shape for 40 years, from beginning with that first movie all the way through. Have you ever trained with any of your co-stars? You mentioned Sly Stallone when you began in the beginning. Anybody else you trained with?
Well, actually, before I got in the business, I was, my girlfriend was in a Conan movie, in a Conan 2. And so my good friend, he was on the set, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and so I trained a bit with him and his buddies, and funny enough, then, I was a fighter at the time. And then about a year later, I was in Hollywood. I was training for Rocky IV, and my girlfriend had a big party at the house, and I'm trying to get some sleep in the guest house, because she wouldn't listen to me. It was like I had to get up to train with Stallone in the morning, so I'm there trying to get some sleep, and the music's going, and and there's a knock on the door, and I'm like, I'm trying to get some sleep. Who is it? It's your trainer. I'm here to check your abs. I open the door. Arnold's with a big cigar and a big smile outside. He's the first guy I trained with, and I trained with Van Damme a little bit on. Universal Soldier. Also, nice guy.
Kick your butt in the gym.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think he was out late that night or something. But there was, I trained with Brandon Lee as well. Yeah. Brandon Lee, Showdown in Little Tokyo. And it was funny because I had this British trainer, sensei, from Europe with me, and he was a nice guy. He was like a 7th degree black belt. And Brandon had his trainer, and when I met Brandon, I didn't know it was Bruce Lee's son. It was Brandon Lee, some young actor, and then I realized, oh shit, it's Bruce Lee's son, and then we were training together first time in the gym, and he's throwing some punches and kicks in front of the mirror, and I'm there with my trainer, and then he was really nice, very polite. He goes over to my trainer and says, so what do you think? What do you think of my technique? You have any tips or any recommendations? And this British guy I have, he's very blunt, he just says it the way it is. He's like, well, I think you should just stick to using kicks. Don't throw any punches. Because your punches are a bit weak. So, funny enough, Brandon, he didn't throw many punches in the movie. He stuck to kicks. It looked pretty good.
Among those guys, you mentioned Brandon Lee, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone. Anybody else on that list?
In Expendables, of course, in the gym in the morning, Terry Crews had been there, or Randy Couture. Trained with Randy a couple of times. He's tough.
I heard Jason Momoa's on there, too.
Jason Momoa, yeah, I trained with him, too, on Aquaman. He's a great guy, Jason, very fun-loving, and he's a climber. He's a rock climber. I mean, for a big guy my size, he's a really good climber. So he was good.
You never know.
Huh?
You never know.
No, you never know. I know. And he's one of those, he's one of those Samoan, naturally big guys, big hands. So I think he's one of the few big guys who's starring in action movies who's my size.
Is it fun to see guys like Jason Momoa who have now taken that action role that really started way back then? I don't know if it's, we'll just say it started with Dolph Lundgren. We just kind of put that out there.
No, I mean, no, I don't know if it started
with... The first action hero.
No, I think it didn't start with me, but what it was, something happened in the late 70s, early 80s where there were a lot of martial artists and athletes that got in the business, like Chuck Norris and, Arnold, Mr. Universe.
Conan, yeah.
There were a lot of guys, and Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Steven Seagal. There was a lot of people who were real fighters and who didn't need a stunt double. They did all their own fighting, which now with superhero movies is kind of unusual because, you put a suit on the guy so you can throw anybody in the suit, really.
So is it fun to see these guys who are like The Rock or like Jason who do a lot of their own work, who are now taking that to another level? Yeah,
I think The Rock's, he's tough, and Jason Statham as well, Jason Momoa. Yeah, all of those guys, there's still some guys out there like that. But, back in the day it was Clint Eastwood and John Wayne, and those guys got in bar fights and got drunk on the weekend and shit, and punch-ups, so the real men in those days, carrying real guns.
I know that we want to get to some questions here from the audience real quick,
sure.
But before we do that, I want to ask, is there a story, one of your favorite stories from any of these movies that you've done, behind the scenes that we may not know about, that you love telling? You go to a party and you're like, okay, this is one of your favorite party stories.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I mean, there are a few. I don't really try to remember if there's anything recent.
I mean, the career you've had has spanned many decades. So, you've got a lot of material to choose from.
I don't want to say anything negative about anybody, so I don't want to make, fun of anybody. But,
we can hide the names to protect the innocent if need be.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what stands out a little bit is the Expendables because, having all of those guys in one small room, it's a bit weird, I was on I think Expendables 2, we're doing this scene where Jean-Claude Van Damme is the bad guy, and there's a shootout. We're all gonna fire at this truck. We're all in there in the morning after breakfast. And a friend of mine was there. I had some friend visiting. So there's this little tent. It's cold. We're shooting in Eastern Europe, and there's a little tent, but they have the heaters. It's about this big, And I get in there. I'm a bit early, so they come and put all the gear on you, all the strap all the, grenades and holsters and shit on you, So I'm there, and then, you know, Mel Gibson walks in, and hey, morning, mate, you know, and then, you know, Statham is there, and Arnold shows up. Good morning, how's everybody? You know, where's Harrison? You know, so Harrison Ford, and it's just like Stallone, and my friend was just like staring. I mean, it's just a small area, and all of these guys are used to being in their own movies, and they're like the top dog. But here it is, you know, the top dog is Stallone. But I mean, everybody is, you know, has to share with everybody else, and I think it's kind of a cool experience, you know, for all of these guys. And I was really happy to be part of that. I really felt honored to be part of it. So.
Yeah, you're sharing the stage with all these big names. You know,
Yeah.
you're definitely right there with them.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I suppose I have put in the work, and it's been a long time, 35 years, about 73 movies or something. So, yeah, there you go. What happened?
You guys want to ask Dolph some questions? Go ahead. What's your name, boss?
Hi, my name is Josh.
Hey, Josh.
I have a question about you with Sylvester Stallone.
Yes.
What was it like boxing with Sylvester Stallone in Rocky IV?
What it was like?
Yes.
Yeah. Look, I got there. I got to Los Angeles, you know, and I got the role, and I got, of course, get the script, you know, and then I get another smaller script, 30 pages, and I turn a page, says right hook, left, 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 right cross, left hook, and like the whole thing was just punches. I had to memorize the whole fight. And I mean, he's a very thorough guy, you know. He was directing me, and I still remember some of that choreography 35 years later. On my deathbed, I'll remembering like 6 jabs, you know. Don't forget that. So
You can do it in your sleep.
I can do it in my sleep. So I was impressed by him. That he was actually a pretty tough guy, you know, tough physically as well. I was European karate heavyweight champion in karate, so I was used to getting hit. But he was a tough guy, and I remember that. That was the most thing that I was impressed. He was 10 years older than me, but you know, he could keep up, which I was impressed by.
I think we had a guy in the back and somewhere in the middle asked if they wanted to see the sequence.
No. It's okay. It's 6 jabs.
Okay.
6 jabs and a right cross. Yeah, you know, because he comes in and you know Drago moves back and he jabs him right.
Right. Okay.
Hey, Rocky keeps coming. You know, he's always like this.
And you landed a lot of those jabs in the movie too. I mean, I noticed that. I mean, he got hit in the face a lot in Rocky IV.
He does. Yeah, he got hit more than me. I think in real life it would have been a little more brain damage, maybe. I don't know.
All right, who's the next question? Go ahead.
What's your favorite part about working in Aquaman?
Excuse me?
What's your favorite part about working in Aquaman?
Yeah,
DC
Aquaman.
universe?
Thank you. Yeah, you know, Aquaman was the first time I worked in a really, you know, computer-generated movie where the only water I saw was the water I drank between takes, you know. There was not a drop to be seen. It's all dry for wet. So you're basically hanging in these wires. You have the harness on, and they pull you up about 20 feet, 30 feet in the air, and you're kind of hanging up there trying to appear like you're swimming, you know, while you're talking to the other guy. And there's absolutely nothing around. There's just blue screen. And then the director will say, okay, Dolph, you know, you got like 500 guys down here, you know, on their side, and another 500 troops over here, and then you're attacking. It's like you got to memorize, you got to imagine all these things. So that was a new experience for me. And the hair they add afterwards as well. The hair moving, it's all added computer. So when I saw the movie, it was like, it's a bit of a shock, you know. And the thing is, hanging in that harness, you know, it cuts into certain parts of the male anatomy, and the heavier you are, the worse it gets. So me and Jason were suffering a lot.
Some prone to some chafing, maybe a bit. Was the hair, did you actually dye your hair red for the movie?
No, I wore a wig. I wore like a wig for some scenes, and the other scenes they added the hair in the computer. But the beard was there, you know. So you got a beard on, it's false beard. You got a wig. you have like, 3 layers of suits of various kinds with armor and all that, and then a helmet. So you're looking out through these little holes, and you're in there like, claustrophobic. So it was only for a few months. It wasn't so bad.
You're willing to take it here for the paycheck later on. Yeah.
Excuse me?
I said you're willing to take it for the paycheck later.
No, exactly. That movie was, the thing for me was that it's another type of franchise that, the other, the Rocky and the Expendables is kind of old school, but this is a new franchise. So I would have done that one for free because it's good to be part of those, superhero movies. So
You bet. What's your question? Go ahead.
Hi. So I had seen before some behind-the-scenes videos for Creed 2. There was going to be a fight between you and Sylvester Stallone in the hospital, and I guess it got cut. What was that supposed to be, and why they ended up taking it out of the movie?
Yeah, thank you. Good question. Yeah, when I read the script, after my son in the movie gets disqualified in the first fight in New York, Adonis Creed is in the hospital, and then we go in there to try to cause some ruckus, to try to get some press. Me, my son, and some other, the promoter. So Rocky comes down in the lobby, and we're basically like, we're gonna go up there and talk to you, talk to him, take some photos. He's like, oh, I can't let you do that, whatever it is. So then, there's a push, kind of a shoving match, and then I take a swipe at him, my character, and then we get in a fight in the lobby, and it was fun, but it was interesting because I hadn't thrown a punch at Stallone since '85, and because Expendables were in the same scene, same side, and we shot that late at night. I think it was 10 o'clock at night, and he'd worked all day doing dramatic stuff. He came down to the lobby, and he's not in a good mood. He's like, and I could see people clearing out, like, oh, this is not going to be good. I got to get in a fight with this guy now. And, he's also producing the movie. He's my boss and all of that. But it worked out fine, and we both enjoyed it. But I think the director decided that he didn't want that fight in there. For some reason, they took it out. And I haven't seen it cut together. I think it's on the DVD or something, but Stallone was really upset. He wanted it in there. But I guess it broke the flow of the picture somehow. So there you go. Maybe next time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, boss.
What was your favorite part about filming Creed 2?
Thank you. The favorite part for me was of Creed 2 was being able to play. The favorite part was that my whole character's arc as a dramatic arc is that I'm so hell-bent on taking revenge, that I'll do anything to win, anything. And pushing my son, even if he gets hurt, whatever I have to do. And the arc of the character was that I really love him, but I haven't realized that yet. I haven't realized that I love my son. And basically, what I was talking to the director, and we said that if the audience thinks that the last guy in the world who's going to throw in the towel is Ivan Drago, it will never happen. And when I decide to do that at the end, it's a huge turn. So when I read the script, I was like, whoa, who came up with that? That's such a great idea. So I thought for me to play that arc of somebody who's very bitter, angry, sitting on a lot of negative emotion, and then realize he really loves his son at the end, I thought that was beautiful, and that's why I enjoyed about the part,
I think this will probably be our last question. Go ahead.
All right. So who would win in a fight in real life? You or Sylvester?
Well, look.
Just putting you on the spot.
We got a bunch of projects together, so I need him, in one piece, So I don't mind taking a fall. I'll take a fall.
Now you mentioned you got new projects coming up. What's next for you?
Yeah, well, look, I gotta actually. I'm you know, I have a action series for CBS television. Yeah, that I'm working on with Stallone. And we're going to do a pilot early next year in New York. It's about the United Nations, playing a special agent for the UN. So it's kind of like a Secret Service, but like a slightly international angle. And it's a really great role. Another father, by the way. And it would be fun to be in one place working for 6-7 months out of the year instead of going around different locations. So I think hopefully it's going to do well. Hopefully it'll reach a big audience. It got a lot of action, excitement, but it's also about bringing the world together and trying to make the world a better place, you know. So I love that about this project too.
I think that's the direction a lot of the Hollywood's going, where you're doing not only movies, right, which was big, but now a lot of people are doing, big actors are getting into these TV series, where streaming, whether it's on TV or CBS or whatnot, so you're just kind of on that cusp of the next generation of entertainment.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think so. You know what it is? In big movies now, it's so much computer-generated action that you have about 30 minutes to establish your character, and then you're into the second act, and you're into action, you're into you know, kinds of adventures, and whereas in TV you have, you know, 10, 15, 20 episodes, so you can do a lot of interesting stuff, and that's why I think actors are attracted to it, and including me.
We definitely love Dolph Lundgren here in Salt Lake City. What do you say,
Thank
guys? Dolph Lundgren, everybody!
Everybody give a huge round of applause for Dolph Lundgren.
Thank you.